Excellent Sports Talk with Mark Bradley.
Hello and welcome to another installment of Excellent Sports Talk with Mark. I am your host, Mark Bradley, and I appreciate everybody hanging out with me as usual. And I just want to thank you again for coming for another week of the show. And we are here. We have a bunch of great topics today that we are going to discuss. And so first, gotta, bring you guys in properly. And so let's go ahead and see what's on the rundown for the show. So first, we're going to go ahead and talk about the MLB season. We talked about it last week, and it's been a lot of shifting and changing around in the MLB. So we're going to go ahead and discuss that. And then we are going to discuss the NFL. And then we're going to discuss we're going to get an NFL preview. And we're going to go ahead and discuss that. And then we're also going to talk about Madden and Madden 23, and the cover is out officially. And so we're going to go ahead and discuss that. And then our last topic, we're going to talk about the NBA Finals. Game 1 was a wild one. And look, it was a fun game to watch. So we're going to go ahead and discuss that for our last topic of the day. So I appreciate everybody here, everybody watching, and as always, if you guys want to comment or on anything that we are discussing, then by all means, go ahead and put it in the comment section, and we will definitely go ahead and discuss it. So let's go ahead and get into our first topic, which is the MLB baseball season. And the MLB is going as usual, going flying through. We're already in June. We still have about 2 to 3 more months of the season. And so during this last week, we already had some shifts and change in the MLB. So we're going to go ahead and discuss some of those teams who made a big change in the this past week, that since last Friday. It's been some changes, so we're gonna go ahead and discuss that. So as always, we're gonna start off in the American League, and not much has changed in the American League. The Yankees are still the top dogs of the MLB, actually, with a 37-15 record. They're playing very well right now. And to round it out, the Tampa Bay Rays are playing excellent baseball as well, with a 31-21 record. And the Toronto Blue Jays is also playing very well themselves with a 30-21 record. And a surprise team who's really not that good this year is the Boston Red Sox with the 25-27 record. And then, of course, Baltimore, has been the bottom feeders of the division for a very long time. So right now they are dead last with a 22-32 record. So we're going to move on to the AL Central. The Minnesota Twins right now are leading that division with a 31-23 record. The Cleveland Guardians are coming in second with a 23-24 record. And then the Chicago White Sox are third with a 23-27 record. Then the Detroit Tigers are 21-31. And the Kansas City Royals are pretty bad this year with a 16-34 record. Just that whole division is not that interesting. I think the Twins just have all the room in the world to win this division, unless they start losing a lot of games and Cleveland decides to figure it out. But for right now, it's not working out very well for the Cleveland Guardians. All right, and then we move on to the AL West with the Houston Astros right now leading the division with a 34-18 record. And then Los Angeles Angels with a 27-26 record. The Texas Rangers are in third with a 24-27 record. Seattle Mariners has a 23-29 record. And then the Oakland Athletics with the 20-34 record. So with the AL, one thing that stood out to me, and it's in the AL West, it's with the Los Angeles Angels. Last week, they were about, 2 games behind the Houston Astros. And I was saying on the last show, I was like, look, maybe they can sneak some games in and really catch up to them. But unfortunately, this past week has been very bad for the Los Angeles Angels. They lost out of their last 10 games, they only won 1 game, and that's not winning baseball. That is not winning baseball. You have to consistently put pressure on the Houston Astros to make it a little bit nerve-wracking for them, to creep the doubts in their heads like, okay, the Angels might be a team we have to look out for. But then you turn around and lose 9 of your last 10 games. It's not going to cut it, especially playing a powerhouse like the Houston Astros. It's hard for them. It's hard for them to lose at this point. Houston, out of the last 10 games, have won 7. So they're playing very well right now. And look, I thought the Angels would give them a little bit more of a scare, but for right now, it just doesn't look like they're up to the task to at least competing for the AL West division. We're going to move on. The AL East is a very good division. I think 2 teams can come out of the wild card of the AL East. If the Yankees consistently, I mean, at this point, that might be the case, right? Because nobody else is really coming close in a wild card race to the Rays or to the Blue Jays. I mean, the Tampa Bay Rays and the Blue Jays in any other division, they would be first place. But unfortunately, since the Yankees are playing so well right now, it's just hard for them to even come close to making that leap to getting the AL crown. So I see Tampa Bay and Toronto coming out of the wild card in the East. So they're primed for that. And it's tough. I mean, you work so hard in that division, and unfortunately, it's just you ran into a good team. You ran into a good team with the New York Yankees, and look, either way, it depends. It doesn't matter how you get to the postseason. You have to make it, but for Tampa and Toronto, look, it's going to be a hard journey to get to where they need to go as far as winning the AL East title. But for right now, they're in good position. It's a very good division in the AL East, so it's been very exciting to watch. And then we move on to the AL Central. Look, that division is very bad. Look, the Twins have it, and that's all I can say about that. So let's go ahead and move on to the NL. All right. So with the National League, the New York Mets is still in first place with a 35-19 record. The Atlanta Braves are second with a 26-27 record. The Phillies are in third with a 23-29 record. The Miami Marlins. I'm back in the 90s. The Miami Marlins are fourth with a 21-29 record. And then the Washington Nationals are dead last with 19-35 record. Moving on to the NL Central, the Milwaukee Brewers are currently holding that division down with a 33-21 record. The St. Louis Cardinals have a 30-22 record and are in second place. Pittsburgh is third with a 22-28 record. Chicago Cubs are in fourth with a 22-30 record, and the Cincinnati Reds are 18-33, and they're in last place. In the NL West, the Dodgers right now are currently still in first place with a 35-17 record. The NL West, the San Diego Padres are second with a 31-21 record. the Giants are in fourth with a 28-23 record. Arizona is in fourth, playing very well. It's usually not Arizona territory, but right now they're 26-27, and then the Colorado Rockies are 23-29 right now. So what I'm getting out for the NL, there's still a lot of teams competing. As far as the NL Central, we're going to start there because there's really a two-horse race. The St. Louis Cardinals, like I said last stream on Friday, they're one of those sneaky good teams where you have to keep on the lookout for the whole year because they can get high at any point of the season and put pressure on the number one team, which is the Milwaukee Brewers. So I can see, look, with the NL Central, it's going to have to be a point where I think they have to get in first place. I feel like they have to get in first place because there's a lot of teams in the NL that's going to be fighting for a wild card position. If the wild card started right now, they would be in the playoffs, but still, it's still a long way to go. And there's a lot of teams that are very good in the NL. The NL East, look, it's a one-horse race. This division is really not that good, which is very surprising because the Atlanta Braves, we would have all thought they would be competing, being, of course, the World Series champions last year. But I guess the World Series hangover is a real thing. And they are right now not as good as they should be. So right now they are struggling right now. But that's a surprise. And I don't think anybody outside of Flushing would have thought New York Yankees would be where they are at right now. So Mets fans, be happy with what you guys have going on right now. And so with that being said, then we move on to the NL West. Of course, the Dodgers are still, the team to beat, in my opinion, in the National League. I mean, they're still beating everybody, even though they did have a tough series against Pittsburgh, which is very surprising because you don't expect Pittsburgh to dominate the way they did against the Dodgers. So I believe they took, I don't know if they swept the series or they took 2 out of 3, but they played very well against the Dodgers. And then the Dodgers turn around and win 2 games against the NL East leading Mets, who could potentially be seen in the playoff. So I don't know if the Dodgers, that was a trap series for the Dodgers. They kind of overlooked the Pittsburgh Pirates to look forward to the series against the Mets because we all know the Mets are a very good team. So I don't know if that was one of those trap games where they were looking forward to that. But they're back playing well. The Dodgers, they won against the Mets, and look, this team is very good. The whole division is very good. We're talking about San Diego, who's still a good team, even though they lost 7 out of their last 10 games, which is not helping them at all in the division. And they're only 4 games behind. It's not like they're 8 or 9 games behind like a lot of different teams in different divisions. They're still very close, so they have to figure a way to win games. And that goes for the Giants. The Giants, who was a 100-win team last year, is still struggling a little bit to get their feet wet. But look, they're still a very good team. They have a great chance to make it to the wild card, which right now I believe the Cardinals and the Pirates are leading. The Padres are leading right now. It's going to come down to the end. I believe it will come down to the end, and it's going to be tough. One of these very good teams are not going to make it to the postseason. So we just have to see which one of those teams that it will be, and we're just going to keep a lookout for that. We're going to keep a lookout for that, and it's been a very good season so far. It's been enjoyable. It's a lot of teams competing out here. And look, when it gets down to July and August, especially August, that's when we know which teams is going to be competing for the World Series. And and it's still a long way to go. Baseball seems to go forever, which it always does, but it's been a fun ride so far. And I guess one of my biggest surprises is still New York baseball. I mean, we didn't expect the Yankees to be as good as they were because they didn't make any moves, but they stuck to it. The Mets are playing well. They have a great pitching rotation, as I said last show, and they play very well at home. I think they're one of the better home teams in the in all of baseball. So when you win at home, good things happen. Good things happen. So that's going to be the end of the baseball talk. And like I said, if you have any questions or comments with anything, if your baseball team is doing good so far, by all means, let me know in the comment section, and we will discuss it. We and if your team is bad, we also want to discuss that too. We want to know why we stink right now. So if you have any questions or comments, by all means, go ahead and put it in the comment section, and we can interact. That's what I'm here for. So let's continue on to our second topic, which is Madden 23. The cover is out. And of course, I don't think it's any secret that who was going to be on the cover this year, and that's John Madden, of course. The man who created the game, who branded the game, who just took off. And he's a big deal. He has the game has been a big worldwide success. It has been everybody plays it. Now look, I'm not the best at Madden. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not the best at Madden. I was more of a 2K guy because I played basketball more. But Madden, it's been fun, and so it's no surprise to see that Madden is the cover this year. Due to his death, it was only right. It was only right for EA to make him the cover, and so I believe this is going to be, a very emotional year for Madden, of course, since the passing of him. So they have to continue his legacy and really continue to make good video games. Now, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you, Madden has been the best in a long time. I don't want to be biased, but Madden hasn't been the best game in a long time. Coming from a fan standpoint, but I have high hopes for this year. I really do. I hope they do find some new things in the game that's going to spark a lot of the fans' interest, because it's been nothing but disappointment, and it's been lacking excitement. I don't think they have done anything exciting for the past, 5 years. So I hope that this year could be different due to John Madden passing. And look, I think it's going to be a fun game. I do think it's going to be a fun game. So of course we can't talk about the game without talking about John Madden and his stats, right? So let's talk about Hall of Fame. John Madden made it to the Hall of Fame in 2006. He was the coach of the then Oakland Raiders. And during his time, he had no losing seasons. During his regular season records throughout his 10 seasons of coaching, he was 103. He won 103 games, only lost 32 games, and had 7 ties, which is a winning percentage of 75%, which is really hard in the NFL to be consistently good like John Madden. That is really hard to do. But John Madden, during his time with the Raiders, like I said, didn't have a losing season and won against won the Super Bowl. Won Super Bowl against the Minnesota Vikings, 32-14. And look, John, I would say this: John Madden would have had a lot more championships, but unfortunately, they did run into some very good Pittsburgh Steelers teams, which, me being a Raider fan, it kind of hurt. It does hurt because unfortunately, the Raiders do have three championships, but I felt like they could have had them a lot more with John Madden at the helm. But that one really excelled him to being one of the best coach in the NFL. Now, after his coaching career, he had a Hall of Fame broadcasting career as well. Of course, John Madden had all the things and was just a football savant. Like, he just knew everything about football. And you can just tell when you watch his broadcast, like, John Madden just oozed football. Like, he lived, breathed, and died football. And it just translated to the game. It was just it was fun when John Madden was the announcer for his own game, right? It was so fun. And just watching him on primetime television, it was so fun. And I enjoyed every step that he took. So like I said, I am excited for the game. I think it's going to be a very fun game this year. Hopefully, EA, if you do watch this, you can listen to the fans because a lot of them been complaining lately, but that's all right. That's all right. You can't keep everybody happy, but it's this time. I think this is the time where they have to make it right. They have to make it right, and they are going to really do a good job with this game. I do believe that they will, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And so let's go ahead and we're going to watch. We're going to watch some a snippet of the new game coming out in August. And so we're going to go ahead and give that a look. And I will be taking a quick break, just a quick minute. And I hope you guys enjoy this. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And we will be back in 1 minute. And let me hide myself.
John Madden changed the foundation of football, teaching, coaching, and broadcasting the sport from the tip of a pen.
The left goes to the right, the right goes to the left.
To further his vision of sharing real football, we've created Field Sense, an all-new gameplay system. Field Sense changes the foundation of how you play by giving you more control all over the field. Control to put the ball where only your receiver can catch it.
I've been going crazy. I've been doing my thing.
Control to make explosive cuts each time you put your foot in the ground. Control to break loose with new mechanics and cheetah speed.
They cannot hold me.
Let's see happy.
Field Sense gives you the power to read, react, and hit everything. With more control to blow up a play from any position on every down. So when coach says,
Play like hell when I tell you to.
You can. Play like mad with Field Sense.
And there you have it. There is the new Madden series. Yes, sir. It's exciting, right? Right, James? I'm excited for it, man. Madden seems interesting this year. I've seen a lot of new things that weren't implemented in the last couple of games. So I'm excited to see how that all works out. And I love it. I'm optimistic about it for Madden 2023. And so like I said, I hope it's a good game. I hope people enjoy it. And look, as the months go by, we still have 2 more months until Madden comes out. Hopefully it brings us new things that we haven't seen. And I'm all about changes, especially when it comes to gaming. It's all about change. Sometimes you have to have something new, something fresh, which Madden hasn't done, but it's optimism in the next couple of months. So I'm very excited. And yeah, it's so fun. It's fun, and I'm excited. I'm excited. So yeah, I am going to continue on into our next topic, which is but first, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put it in the comment section. And I'm also streaming on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, by all means, put it in there, and I will see it on the screen. I love interacting with you guys, and so I hope that you guys do want to interact. And so let's go ahead and continue to our next topic. So with Madden, continue on with the NFL theme. We have our NFL preview right now, which we're going to go ahead. OTAs is starting right now for all the teams, and it's starting to get that feel of NFL football is right around the corner. Even though they start in August, in the beginning of August, football is right around the corner, and you can just feel it in the air, right? It's coming, and we are all excited. So let's go ahead and get into our early predictions with who is going to be standouts in the NFL this year. So let's go ahead and start with the NFC. Let's start there. Let's start with the NFC, okay? So we're going to go ahead and start off with the NFC East. The Dallas Cowboys were first in the division with a 12-5 record. The rest of the division wasn't that interesting, other than Philadelphia, who did make the playoffs, who kind of squeaked in there, barely squeaked in there with a 9-8 record. And then we're also talking about the rest of the NFL East, which was really not that good. We're talking about the Washington Commanders, who had a 7-10 record. Wasn't the best team. And, of course, the New York Giants, who still has a lot to do. But I'm very optimistic about the New York Giants, okay, because they had a great draft, okay? So I'm excited about them. Then we're going to move on to the NFC North with the Green Bay Packers being the best team in the NFL with a 13-4 record. Then the Minnesota Vikings with an 8-9 record wasn't the best team. Chicago wasn't really exciting. Split between Mitchell Trubisky and Justin Fields. That was a mess. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And so, who else? Chicago Bears. Then we have the Detroit Lions with Jared Goff moving from LA to Detroit. A pretty bad season, and that says a lot that you have to build a team, because Jared Goff was a stud in Los Angeles and went to Detroit. And, oh boy. All right, so let's continue on. Then we have the NFC South with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a 13-4 record. Then we have the New Orleans Saints with a 9-8 record, barely missing the playoffs. Atlanta Falcons with a 7-10 record, and then Carolina with the 5-12 record. And look, I think with the NFC South, I thought everybody was going to have a chance this year for the NFC South because Tom Brady retired, and then 2 seconds later, Tom Brady was like, "Oh, I'm coming back." Messed it up for everybody. I know everybody in that division was like, "Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. Like, can you stay retired for more than 5 seconds? Like, geez, can we get a break from Tom Brady 1 year?" Like, I know they had to hurt. I know it had to be rough on them. But look, Tom Brady's back, and Tom Brady's been in his prime for like 20 plus years. So I don't think anything else is going to change this year now that he retired for 5 seconds. And then we're going to continue with the NFC West. The Super Bowl champions themselves, the Los Angeles Rams, came in number 1. Arizona Cardinals is a very good team last year. It came in 11-6. San Francisco 49ers, who made the playoffs as well, with a 10-7 record. And then Seattle Seahawks, dead last, 7-10 record. Best division in football by far. By far the best. And they have been the best division in football for a very long time. Don't get me wrong. This has been a very good division. Look, I thought San Francisco was a shock to everybody, getting as far as they did in the playoffs. But they did. They made it to the NFC champions. No, they didn't. Yes, they did. They made it to the NFC championship game against the Los Angeles Rams. I don't know why I had a brain fart because Los Angeles Rams beat Tampa Bay. So, yes, they played against the 49ers. It's very shocking how they got to where they were. And so we're going to go ahead and move on to the AFC because I will give my predictions after I get through the AFC. So coming in the AFC East, the Buffalo Bills with an 11-6 record. Then the New England Patriots, who had a big revelation with their new quarterback in Mac Jones, played very well his rookie year. He was very pro ready coming out of Alabama. I do believe he was ready. Then he fell into a coaching guru in Bill Belichick out there in the 49ers. In New England. So that was just a hand in glove fit for Bill Belichick and Mac Jones, and they played very well, made it to the playoffs. Then coming in at third was the Miami Dolphins, and that was one of those sneaky good teams who could have made it, but unfortunately they didn't. And coming in dead last is the New York Jets, who needs a brand new team because they have a lot, and I mean a lot of holes to fill. And we have to see the development of Zach Wilson. We have to see if he's going to make that major leap in his second year. And the team's only going to go as far as he goes because he's the man there. He's the man in Jets. There was some times where I was like, wow, okay, he's pretty decent. And there's other times I was like, oh, dear goodness, this man can't throw for crap. So we have to see his development in year 2. So let's move on to the AFC North. The Cincinnati Bengals, who I don't think anybody thought was going to make the Super Bowl, but Joe Burrow is the truth. You hear me? Joe Burrow is the truth. So Cincinnati came in first. Pittsburgh, who barely squeaked into the playoffs because of a funny game, a very funny game that we're going to get into. But Pittsburgh, Ben Roethlisberger's final year, made it to the playoffs. It's a good deal for them. Cleveland Browns, who came in third with an 8-9 record. Cleveland is a very interesting team. I don't know if anybody is paying attention to what Cleveland has going on, but look, Cleveland is basically pushing Baker Mayfield out the door. Like, let's be honest, they're pushing them out the door, but they kind of like keeping them by the doorway. They was like, okay, we're gonna push you out. We give Deshaun Watson so much money, but then again, he might get suspended. So it's like, what? Like what's going on with that situation? Like, we kind of need you, Baker, but we still really don't want you, but we kind of need you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he's being used pretty crazy, and I don't know, but he's not getting traded, so unfortunately. And then we had the Baltimore Ravens, who was last in the division. I was kind of shocked that they were, because they were one of those exciting teams going into the season, but they kind of lost a lot of games at the end of the year. So that was unfortunate for them. And in the AFC South, we have the Tennessee Titans, who was a very good team. Came in 12-5. Indianapolis Colts, who should have made it to the playoffs, but didn't with the 9-8 record. Then Houston stunk it up, 4-13. Jacksonville stunk it up. But I think Jacksonville was some big players. They were spending some money over the offseason to revamp that team. And so I think that they have a good team going on right now. So we have to be on the lookout for that. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to the AFC West. The Kansas City Chiefs was the kings of that division at 12-5. Las Vegas Raiders came in second, which was a shock to everybody because they thought they was going to be dead last. But they played very well at the end of the season to make it to the playoffs. The Los Angeles Chargers came in third, which they could have made the playoffs. It was the Las Vegas Raiders' last game of the season, and the Los Angeles Chargers about to come into a tie. It was going to be a tie. The Raiders was running the ball out, and they was going to go to the time, but they was going to have a tie. But the Chargers call a timeout. The Chargers got a timeout to get the right defensive personnel in there. And the Raiders took that some way. They was going to sit on the ball. Everybody was going to be happy going to the playoffs. Boom, boom, right? Chargers is going to be happy. Raiders going to be happy. Even though as an avid Raider fan, I did not want that tie because we had to play Kansas City, which I was not trying to have because Kansas City was putting up numbers against the Las Vegas Raiders all season. I wasn't going to have another 45-7 game. I wasn't going to have it. I was not going to have it. But look, but they call a timeout. And they end up losing the game, which was crazy to me. But anyway, we're beyond that now. And who came in last was the Denver Broncos. Unfortunately, they didn't have too much talent, but they're a little bit better now. So let's go ahead and give my predictions. I'm going to go ahead and start off in the NL. And like I said, you can comment because I know how y'all feel about your teams, you know. So let's start off with the NFC East. I do think Dallas will continue to be the kings of that division, even though they did lose a lot in the offseason as far as losing Amari Cooper. Of course, they didn't want to pay the man, so they got rid of him. And, you know, that's going to hurt Dak Prescott a lot. But, you know, a quarterback like Dak Prescott, he'll be all right. And I don't think anybody in the rest of the division, other than maybe Philadelphia, and I think New York might make a little bit of a big jump, but we have to see how Daniel Jones performed this year. He has to play well this year. And the health of Saquon Barkley is very big because he has been hurt these past couple of years. So if he can be healthy, the talent that they added over the offseason, that was very big. That was very big for them. And so we have to keep a lookout on the New York Giants. But I do think Dallas will win that division. So going to the NFC North, I do believe Green Bay will win that division as long as you have Aaron Rodgers. You're going to win some games because Aaron Rodgers is still playing in his prime ball, I believe. Even though he did lose a big time receiver, probably the best receiver in the NFL, and Devontae Adams. That's going to be a big loss for him. And they also lost Valdez Scantling to Kansas City. So that's two receivers that gave him big production last year. So I think this is going to be tough for them, but I don't see anybody other in the division that's going to make a run. Now, of course, Detroit's not going to be any good. Chicago, losing Khalil Mack might be big for them. And Justin Fields, I don't think is NFL ready yet. But he's had no choice but to play. He's the man now in Chicago. And in Minnesota, might give them a run for their money, but I don't know. I don't really think that they will, but we'll see. So moving on to the NFL South. Look, Tampa Bay is going to win that division, man. They have so much talent in all phases of the game. Their defense is amazing. You bring back Tom Brady, Mike Evans, those two are amazing together. It's hard to beat Tampa Bay. And I think Tampa Bay is going to make another deep playoff push. And they're going to be fun to watch. And then going to the NFC West, I think Los Angeles will continue to be king of the NFL West. Hopefully they don't have a Super Bowl hangover next year. But look, all roads pointing to the Los Angeles Rams. They bring back Aaron Donald. OBJ is still up in the air. Aaron Donald didn't retire. That's what I'm trying to get at. He didn't retire. It was some talks. He might have retired, but he's coming back. And when you have a man of his stature just being a disruptor, play after play after play, it's hard to stop him. So I think Los Angeles will be a strong team. But I think the whole division is going to be strong. San Francisco is going to be a tough team. And I think Arizona is going to be a tough team as well. But you're going to see how Kyler Murray works out, because I don't think Kyler Murray is too excited to continue his career in Arizona. So, I mean, he's going to play hard because, he's getting paid. But I think Kyler Murray is 1 foot out the door. I'm just going to be 100% honest with you. I think he's 1 foot out the door. So that's who I have. I have Dallas winning the NFC East, Green Bay winning NFC North, Tampa Bay winning the NFC South, and Los Angeles winning the NFC West. All right, let's continue on to the AFC. I think Buffalo will continue to win that division. Look, Josh Allen is a stud of a quarterback. It was tough in the first, like his first couple of years. He was like, I don't know. He's just a guy who can throw the ball really hard, but this man's took his game to the next level. His accuracy is on point. He can run with the ball. He's a very big quarterback, so it's hard to tackle this man. So I think Buffalo is still the cream of the crop of that division. And I do believe New England will give them some problems. And Miami as well. Miami did some big things in the offseason, acquiring Tyreek Hill in the trade and paying that man some big money. So they're going to be an interesting team, but I don't think they're better than Buffalo. And, of course, Buffalo adding Von Miller is a big deal. I think that's a very big deal for them. So that's going to be a fun team to watch, okay? Then let's continue on to the AFC North. I do think Cincinnati is still the team to beat in that division. But I believe you got to watch out for Cleveland now, depending on if Deshaun Watson can play. Because if Deshaun Watson can play, that's going to be a fun team. I think that's going to be a team to look out for. Because Deshaun Watson is a top 15 caliber quarterback, I think. I wouldn't say top 10, but top 15, maybe 11, maybe. We'll say that. Top 15 quarterback. He can run with the ball. He's a very accurate passer, good decision maker. Cleveland could make some noise in that division. But I think we have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase is going to have another year of developing. It's going to be hard for me not to think that Cincinnati is still going to be the cream of the crop in that division. And Pittsburgh, I think Pittsburgh would be a good team. We just have to see how Mitch Trubisky operates. I think he's going to be the starter, but he better watch his back. Because if he play bad, he's going to get replaced. He's definitely going to get replaced. So I think Mitch Trubisky, he's going to have a good year. I think now that he has a new home in Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin is going to work around his game. I think that he's going to be a decent quarterback. I don't think he's going to be a top quarterback, but he's going to be a decent one. And that defense is amazing. Okay, TJ Watt is the truth. Okay, he's the truth, and he's going to be a 20 sack type of guy. Okay, he's definitely is. So we're going to be on the lookout. And you also know with Baltimore could be a very fun team to watch as well. The thing about the AFC North is you just never know what you get from that division. It seems like each and every year it's always a different team leading that division. And so look, it's up in the air. I think Cleveland's going to win. Cincinnati's going to win. But it's always up in the air. You never know with that division. Moving on to the AFC South. Look, I think Tennessee is still going to win the division. They still have things in line. Losing A.J. Brown might be big, though, to Philadelphia. I think that might be a bigger thing than people think, because Tannehill used him as a security blanket all the time. When he looked A.J. Brown's way, he's always open and making plays. So this could really be bad. But, you know, we have Derrick Henry running the ball 7 yards a game. You work that play action pass, it doesn't matter who you have playing at receiver. People are always going to bite when they see Derrick Henry getting the ball, and they're going to run full speed at him. And when you pull the ball and you throw it deep, look, I think that might work out for them. So Derrick Henry's still the engine for the Tennessee offense. So I think they're going to win the division. I think Indianapolis is going to take a huge step back. You know, they let Carson Wentz go. He's playing for the Commanders now. And they bring in Matt Ryan, who's way past his prime. It's about his time. And yeah, I can't really see them making a big leap like they did last time. I think if anybody's going to make a big leap in the AFC South, it's going to be Jacksonville. So they spent a lot of money. They did a lot to, work with Trevor Lawrence there, and they revamped the defense a little bit. So I think that they're going to make the biggest leap. And for the AFC West, Kansas City, I think Kansas City's still going to win that division. You have Patrick Mahomes. They did lose Tyreek Hill, which is going to be tough. But look, Patrick Mahomes can make anybody look good. To be honest, the man is I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. I really do. I think it's going to be a tough 2-3 matchup with the Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers. Those are both really good teams. And then Russell Wilson going to Denver is a big deal as well. So I think Kansas City is going to win the division, but that's going to be one of the best divisions in sports in the NFL. So we're going to keep a lookout for that. So those were my predictions for the NFL. And so we're going to go ahead and move on. And like I said, if you have any questions or comments, by all means, go ahead and put it down, and we would love to talk. If you think I'm wrong, let me know in the NFL, all right? So we're going to move on to our last topic, which is the NBA Finals. And game one was on Tuesday, I believe. Was it Tuesday or Thursday? It was Thursday. I'm sorry. It was Thursday. And look, this was such a good game. I am so shocked. Boston won 120-108. Boston was the worst team in this game until like the last quarter. Boston didn't shock anybody. They played the tough. They played a tough Warriors team at home. Warriors, that's one of the hardest places to play because it's always loud, it's always rocking. But man, that fourth quarter was ridiculous. You hear me? 40-16. Boston outscored Golden State in the fourth quarter. 40 points is ridiculous in any quarter, everyone. And Al Horford and Derek White couldn't miss. Okay, Al Horford went 9 for 12 with 6 threes. 6 threes. Who did Al Horford think he is? Al Horford in his first final showed out. Al Horford has been in the league 10 plus years. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but Al Horford been waiting for this moment and showed out. You would have thought he was a splash brother out there in Golden State. Okay, you would have thought he was one of them. You thought he was Klay Thompson at that game, the way he was shooting. And then Derek White just had a crazy game himself. Just playing out of his mind. But Derek White has been playing very well lately. He went 6 for 11, 5 for 8 from the three. He was playing his heart out, okay? And Derek White has been playing well since the Miami series. And so those two men really kept them in the game. But then Jaylen Brown came in and became one of the closers for the team at the end, setting the tone for the fourth quarter, just getting bucket after bucket after bucket. And Jason Tatum didn't even play well. Jason Tatum only went 3 for 17, had 12 points the whole game. But it was just some X factor ballers. You know what I'm saying? The Derek Whites, the Marcus Smarts, who had 18 points, going 7-11 from the field. Just X factors, everyone. And then we also talk about Robert Williams, who gave them 8 points, and being a defensive leader that he is. Very, very, very shocking in my opinion, man. Golden State controlled the whole game. Look, Steph Curry was balling out the first quarter. Didn't have a good second quarter or fourth quarter when it really matters, especially the fourth quarter. You have to ball out in the fourth quarter. Steph Curry didn't. They lose the game. Klay Thompson didn't have the best of games. 6 for 14 from the field with only 15 points. Not a Klay Thompson type of game. And look, everybody else didn't play up to par other than Steph Curry. So we need more to come out of Andrew Wiggins had a decent game with 20, but we need to get more out of Klay for sure in game 2, which will be tomorrow. And we need more from Draymond. And, Jordan Poole has to step up. Jordan Poole has to step up and be that third scorer that they need. I don't think Andrew Wiggins is going to continuously have 20 points a game. I just don't think that's going to be the case. So I believe going into game 2, Golden State will definitely adjust to what they did from last Thursday. I do believe Golden State will win game 2. I believe Golden State will win game 2. It's going to be a tough game. It's definitely going to be a tough game because, look, Boston isn't there because they're bad. Boston is a legit championship team, and they're going to punch back everything Golden State brings at them. They're going to give them a counter punch. That defense from the Celtics is top tier defense, okay? Very top tier defense. But I do believe Golden State will win game 2. That crowd will continuously stay in the game because they was out of it in the fourth quarter, man. You can drop a pin in that stadium. You can hear it, okay? It was very quiet in Golden State, but I believe Golden State will win game 2. And I believe it will go to 1-1 going back to Boston. And look, everything is up from there. Golden State is going to have to sneak a game in Boston if they want to stay in this series. They're going to have to sneak a game. I don't think it'll be game 3 because I think Boston is going to really be loud and really mess up their game. And it's going to be a lot of momentum going the Celtics' way. But I think game 4 could be that chance for Golden State to sneak a game. because they're going to have to. They're going to have to sneak game 4. I think that's going to be the game that Golden State will sneak, and then they're going to move on. Look. To be honest with you, I think this series will go to 7. I do. I think the series will go to 7. It's 7 games, and this is going to be one of those like very hard hitting series. Like this is going to be a very stressful series for both of these teams. I think they're going to wear each other down when they get to game 7. It's just whoever has the most life when it comes down to game 7, that's going to be the champion. And I think the series is going to go to 7, and it's going to be a very, very fun series. So that's going to be the end of the show. I appreciate everybody coming out to the show. And look, we are going to be back on. I think I'm going to start doing this on Saturdays. Okay. So every Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we will be here with more excellent sports talk. And so until then, I will see you next Saturday. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. All right. Peace.